welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial we are going to make a crochet cat ear beanie. For this tutorial I am going to show you how to make two versions of the beanie. One is going to be with ear flaps and the other will be without ear flaps. Okay, for the materials I'm going to use a size 3 acrylic yarn. My yarn requires a 4mm hook, but I am going to use a 3.5mm hook because I want my stitches to be nice and tight. Okay, let's get started. To get started with your first color, make a slip knot. For this beanie, you are going to need your head circumference. So to get the measurements for your head circumference, you are going to take a tape measurer and you are going to measure around your head. Do not include your ears, okay? So I will place a picture on the screen to help guide you on how to take the measurement. After you've gotten your head circumference, we are going to make chains that stretches to the head circumference. For me, my head circumference is 22 inches. So I am going to make chains that stretches to 22 inches. So go ahead and make chains that stretches to your head circumference. Also, when you are making your chains, do not make your chains too tight, okay? I have worked a total of 76 chains and it stretches to my head circumference, which is 22 inches. After working your total number of chains, you are going to make a slip stitch in the very first chain to form a ring. To get started on round 1, chain 1. This chain 1 does not count as a stitch. Place 1 double crochet in that first chain. Place 1 double crochet in the next chain. Place 1 double crochet in the next chain and continue to place 1 double crochet in each chain around until you get to your last chain. When you get to your last chain, we are going to finish off the round by working a slip stitch in the very first stitch to join. But since we are going to change colors for the next round, what we are going to do is finish off the slip stitch with the new color. So drop your first color and bring in the next color. After your last stitch, insert your hook in the very first stitch and then yarn over the new color and pull through both loops like so, and then leave a long tail so you can sew it in later, and then pull your first color to tighten the stitch like so. Do not fasten off the first color. Now to work the second round, chain 1. Again, this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. And then place 1 double crochet in that same stitch. And then place 1 double crochet in the next stitch. Place 1 double crochet in the next stitch. Continue to place 1 double crochet in each stitch around until you get to the last stitch. After working 1 double crochet in the last stitch, we are going to finish off the round with a slip stitch in the very first stitch. But for the next round, we are going to go back to our first color. So that means we need to finish off the slip stitch with our first color. To do that, drop your second color and go back to your first color. Insert your hook in the very first stitch and pull through your first color to work the slip stitch. And then to tighten the stitch, you are going to go back to your second color and pull through. Do not fasten off, okay? To work the next round, chain 1, place 1 double crochet in that very first stitch, place 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and just place 1 double crochet in each stitch around until you get to your last stitch. To finish off the round, just like we did for this round, we are going to drop the color and then go back to our previous color. Then insert your hook in the very first stitch and pull through your next color. And then to tighten this stitch, you are going to pull your previous color, okay? So I am going to work one more row with you, and then it is just repetitive from here forward, okay? So chain 1, place 1 double crochet in the very first stitch. Make sure you do not work under or over your previous yarn, just keep it aside. And then place 1 double crochet in the next stitch, place 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and continue to place 1 double crochet in each stitch around until you get to your last stitch. To finish off the round, you are going to drop your present color and then bring in your previous color. Insert your hook in the very first stitch and then pull through your new color. Then to tighten the stitch, you are going to pull your color like so, okay? And now all you have to do is keep repeating the same pattern. So you change color after every one row. So this is white color. For the next row, you will go back to nude color. After that, go back to white, okay? And just repeat the same pattern until, so you are going to repeat the same pattern until when you lay your work like this and you measure it. If you are making the beanie with ear flaps, you are going to stop when your work measures 5 inches. But if you are making the beanie without ear flaps, you will stop when your work measures 9 inches. Okay? So for the beanie with ear flaps, 5 inches, and the beanie without ear flaps, 9 inches. This is what I have so far for both beanies. This one is not going to have ear flaps, while this one will have ear flaps. For the one without ear flaps, I worked a total of 18 rows, and from top to bottom, it measures 9 inches, okay? After your last stitch, make a slip stitch in the very first stitch to join, then chain 1 and fasten off. And then you are going to skip to the part of the video where I show how to sew the top together, and then you are done with your beanie, okay? Alright, my loves, for the beanie with ear flaps, at this point I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have worked 10 rows so far, and it measures 5 inches, okay? Next up, we are going to work a ribbing around the forehead area. So this is what the hat is going to look like. This is the top of the hat going down, and this last row is somewhere here. So next up, we are going to work this ribbing. You have to choose the color you want your ribbing to be. For me, my ribbing is going to be the nude color. After my last stitch, I am going to insert my hook in the first stitch and make a slip stitch. And since my last row is white color, and I want to work my ribbing with nude color. That means I will fasten off the white color. Okay, so I'm going to chain 1 and fasten off. But if your last row is worked with a nude color, you do not need to fasten off. Just slip stitch into the very first stitch. Okay, so now that I've fastened off my white color, I'm going to go back to my nude color, insert my hook in that first stitch, yarn over the nude color and pull through that stitch. Now to work your first row of ribbing, chain 1. For the ribbing, we are going to alternate between front post double crochet and back post double crochet. Chain 1 and then work a front post double crochet in this first stitch. To work a front post double crochet, yarn over, go in front of the first stitch like so, yarn over, pull through your yarn, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops. That is a front post double crochet. And then in the next stitch we will work a back post double crochet. Yarn over, go behind your stitch like so, yarn over, pull through your yarn, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops. That is a back post double crochet. In the next stitch, work a front post double crochet. In the next stitch, work a back post double crochet. In the next stitch, front post double crochet. In the next stitch, back post double crochet. So this is what your work should look like. You are going to alternate between back post and front post double crochet. So after your back post double crochet, work a front post double crochet, then back post, front post, all the way around until you get to your last stitch. After your last stitch, make a slip stitch in the very first stitch to join. For the next round of ribbing, chain 1. Now we are just going to work a front post double crochet in the previous front post double crochet and a back post double crochet in the previous back post double crochet. After chaining 1, in your very first front post double crochet, work a front post double crochet. Yarn over, go in front of the stitch like so, yarn over, pull through your yarn, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. In the next stitch, we are going to work a back post double crochet. So yarn over, go behind your previous back post double crochet like so, yarn over, pull through your yarn, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Can you hear the birds chirping? After this, in the next front post double crochet, we are going to work another front post double crochet. So yarn over, go in front of your stitch, yarn over, pull through your yarn, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. In the next back post double crochet stitch, work another back post double crochet, yarn over, go behind the stitch like so, yarn over, pull through your yarn, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. You are going to repeat the pattern all the way around until you get to your last stitch. After your last stitch, make a slip stitch in the very first stitch to join. From here forward, just repeat this second round of ribbing. So chain 1, place 1 front post double crochet in the first front post double crochet. After that, place 1 back post double crochet in the next back post double crochet. Then place a front post double crochet in the next front post, a back post in the next back post. Okay, just alternate between front post and back post all the way around until you get to your last stitch. Then make a slip stitch in the very first stitch to join. Okay, so you're going to repeat that pattern until, so just repeat that pattern until when you measure your work like this, it will measure 7 inches. Okay, so you're going to stop your ribbing when your work measures 7 inches. I have worked a total of 4 rows for my ribbing. 1, 2, 3, 4. My work measures about 6.5 inches. I know I had instructed that you stop at 7 inches, but I figured that 7 inches will probably be too long for me. Okay, so the length of the beanie depends on your choice and also on the size of your head. You can stop at 6 inches, 6.5 or 7 inches depending on your choice. Okay, so I think I am going to stop at 6.5 inches, and besides we are going to work 1 more row of single crochet, so that should help balance it out to 7 inches. All right, after your last stitch, make a slip stitch in the very first stitch to join. Next up, we are going to work on the ear flaps. To do that, you are going to divide your beanie into front and back. So place your very first stitch on the end like so, and then you are going to locate the other stitch on this other end. So I had located mine and placed a stitch marker. So now we have front and back. Okay, I have 37 stitches between my first stitch and the marked stitch. So 37 stitches on this side and 37 stitches on this side. If your stitches are not equal, that's fine, okay, but the difference shouldn't be more than 1 stitch. So now that we have divided our work into front and back, let's work on the ear flaps. After your slip stitch, chain 1, turn your work, make a slip stitch in the next stitch. That's 1 slip stitch. Make a slip stitch in the second stitch, slip stitch in the third stitch, slip stitch in the fourth stitch, and slip stitch in the fifth stitch. Okay, and then chain 1, turn your work. Now we are going to work all the way back. In that very first stitch, place 1 double crochet. So you can poke your hook into the slip stitch, but if you can't, you can go back to the stitch, the double crochet stitch right here, and place 1 double crochet. Place 1 double crochet in the next stitch, place 1 double crochet in the next stitch, place 1 double crochet in the next stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Place 1 double crochet in the next stitch. So now we are back to our first stitch. This is our first stitch. Okay, so now you are going to place 1 double crochet in that first stitch. At this point you should have 6 stitches in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next up, we are going to place 1 double crochet in the next 5 stitches in order to get the total number of stitches here to 11. Okay, so place 1 double crochet in the next stitch, 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and continue that until you have 11 stitches in total. Let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. To work the next row, chain 3, turn your work, skip 1 stitch, and in the next stitch place 1 double crochet. Place 1 double crochet in the next stitch and continue to place 1 double crochet in each stitch across until you have 2 stitches left. When you have 2 stitches left, skip 1 stitch and in the last stitch place 1 double crochet. Now we are going to repeat this second row, so we will be skipping 1 stitch at the beginning and also at the end. Okay, so chain 3, turn your work, skip 1 stitch, in the next stitch place 1 double crochet, place 1 double crochet in the next stitch, continue to place 1 double crochet across until you have 2 stitches left. When you have 2 stitches, skip 1 stitch and in the last stitch work 1 double crochet. You are going to repeat the same pattern continuously until you have 2 stitches left. So you're going to chain 3, turn your work, skip 1 stitch, in the next stitch place 1 double crochet, place 1 double crochet in each stitch across until you have 2 stitches left. When you have 2 stitches, skip 1 stitch and in the last stitch place 1 double crochet. We have 5 stitches left. Chain 3, turn your work, skip 1 stitch, place 1 double crochet in the next stitch. We have 2 stitches left. Skip 1 stitch, place 1 double crochet in the last stitch. And now we are left with 3 stitches. So chain 3, turn your work, skip the next stitch and in the last stitch place 1 double crochet. After that, chain 1 and fasten off. This is what your beanie should look like so far. We are done with 1 ear flap. Now we are going to work the other ear flap. To work the second ear flap, you are going to count 5 stitches away from your mark stitch towards your right hand side. So this is my mark stitch. I'm going to start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Attach your yarn in that 5th stitch. After attaching your yarn, take out the stitch marker and then pull through to form a loop. Then chain 1, place 1 double crochet in the very first stitch, place 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and place 1 double crochet in each stitch across until you have 11 stitches in total. I have worked my 11 stitches, and now we are just going to repeat everything that we did for the first ear flap. Okay, so chain 3, turn your work, skip 1 stitch, in the next stitch place 1 double crochet, place 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and continue to place 1 double crochet in each stitch across until you have 2 stitches left. When you have 2 stitches left, skip 1 stitch and in the last stitch place 1 double crochet. So go ahead and repeat everything you did for the first ear flap, and when you have 2 stitches left, chain 1 and fasten off. Now that we are done with the ear flaps, we are going to work single crochet around the edging and also the ties. All right, so to do that, we are going to go back to white color. So bring in your white color, and then you are going to come to the ear flap that is on your right hand side, okay, which is this, and then you are going to locate the very first single crochet stitch after the first double crochet space. So this is the first row of the ear flap, and this is the first double crochet space. You are going to attach your yarn in the first double crochet stitch after the space, this one. So attach your yarn right there. To work the edging, chain 1. This chain 1 does not count as a stitch. Place one single crochet in that same stitch. Place one single crochet in the next stitch. Place one single crochet in the next stitch. Continue to place one single crochet in each stitch across until you get to the last stitch before the first row of your ear flaps. Next up, we are going to work 2 single crochets in each double crochet spaces of the ear flap. So in this first row of ear flap, you are going to place 2 single crochets in that double crochet space. That's 1 and 2. In the next double crochet space, place 2 single crochets. In the next space, place 2 single crochets. In the next one, 2 single crochets. In the next one, 2 single crochets. And in the last one, place 2 single crochets. After that, we are going to work the tie. So you're going to make chains according to how long you want your tie to be. I'm going to make 60 chains. I have worked 60 chains. After you've had your total number of chains, you are going to make 5 extra chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After chaining 5, make a slip stitch in the 6th chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In that 6th chain, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through your yarn, and then pull through that loop. So we've made a slip stitch. Again, chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then go back to that same chain that you had slip stitched before and make another slip stitch. Again, chain 5. And make a slip stitch in that same chain. And now we are going to place one slip stitch in each chains across until we get to the last chain. So in the next chain, work one slip stitch. In the next chain, place a slip stitch, and continue to place one slip stitch in each chains all the way across until last chain. After your last slip stitch, place 2 single crochets in that first double crochet space of the ear flap. So right here, place 2 single crochets. Place 2 single crochets in the next space, and just place 2 single crochets in each of the spaces across until you get to the last space of your ear flap. After placing 2 single crochets in the last space, you are going to place 1 single crochet in the next double crochet stitch. So place 1 single crochet right there, and 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and continue to place 1 single crochet in each stitch across until you get to the last stitch before your next ear flap. After working 1 single crochet in the last stitch, Just like we did for the other ear flap, we are going to place 2 single crochets in each double crochet space of this ear flap. So place 2 single crochets in the first double crochet space, 2 single crochets in the next double crochet space, and continue to place 2 single crochets in each double crochet spaces until the end. After placing 2 single crochets in your last space, you are going to repeat everything that you did for the tie. So make the same number of chains that you made, and then work this little design right here, and then slip stitch all the way across until you get to the last chain. Okay, so do that over here and I'll be back. When you are done with your tie, you are going to place 2 single crochets in the very first double crochet space of the ear flap, like so, and then continue to place 2 single crochets in each double crochet space all the way across until the last space. After placing 2 single crochets in the last double crochet space, make a slip stitch in the very first stitch to join, and then chain 1 and fasten off. This is what your beanie should look like so far. The last thing we are going to do is sew the top together to close it. Okay, to do that, you are going to flip your work inside out. You can either use a tapestry needle to sew opposite stitches together all the way across, or you can use slip stitches. I am going to use slip stitches. So going back to my nude color, I am going to attach yarn in the very first stitch. You will know your first stitch by the loose end. So I'm gonna come here and attach yarn in that very first stitch. And then insert my hook in that stitch and pull through the yarn to form a loop. Chain 1, then insert your hook in that same stitch, and then also insert your hook in the stitch right next to it. So right here, insert your hook, then yarn over, pull through your yarn through that stitch and also through this other stitch, and then work a slip stitch by pulling that same yarn through the loop, like so. Okay, and now we are going to use slip stitches to sew opposite stitches together. So insert your hook in the next stitch and also in the opposite stitch, and work a slip stitch by yarning over and pulling your yarn through both stitches and also through the loop. Insert your hook in the next stitch and also in the opposite stitch, yarn over, pull your yarn through both stitches and also through the loop. So just continue to slip stitch opposite stitches together. There you go. So continue that all the way across until you get to your last stitch. This is what my work looks like. When I get here, I'm just going to poke my hook into any of the stitches here and work one last slip stitch. After your last slip stitch, chain 1 and fasten off. And then you are going to give your slip stitches some tug to loosen it up, like so. Flip your work back to the right side, and we are done. All right, so these ends right here will give you that cat ear effect. Okay, so here we are. This one has ear flaps, this one has ear flaps, and for this one without ear flaps, all you have to do is put on your beanie and then fold it to the length that you want it to be. Okay. Alright, my loves, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next tutorial. Bye.